Mixtape, you're bound to get shot. She ain't gonna the intro. I have started. Get on the so I can get retarded.
You don't realize Bringing Your Ear was a bigger record than Juicy at the time. It actually set Juicy up. Craig Mack, that's why I say he's so underplayed. But Craig Mack, Bringing Your Ear.
Dang, it's hot as balls out this joint. Let's see if we are actually live.
My man, filthy bitch. My man, filthy bitch. My man, filthy bitch.
Yes, we are back, and back to the same demonstration we was working with the last time because we didn't finish. Last time I was having some technical difficulties, I should say. So let's hope we don't have any technical difficulties today, and this can be a little better. Now, same topic as before, and I don't think I got to explain the last time why we were doing this repair, but it happens to a lot of people. Wait a minute, I think I got this music too loud back there. But I see this happen a lot, and that is people phase wires, for whatever reason, get caught up in their rotor. The rotor may cut the phase wires, or they don't have enough torque arms or torque plates on their swing arm. So the torque from the motor may rip the dropout out and spin and wrap the phase cable up and break the phase wires. For whatever reason, they end up destroying their phase wires, shorting them out. And most people think the immediate cure for that is to attempt and just, connect the wires back together. Now, while that definitely has to be done, that may not always fix your problem. Hopefully I can move this camera without losing my stream. But let me tell you why I just replace or trying to mend the wires isn't a good idea. For one, you always try to tape them up and repair them right out here where it initially happened. And I'm going to tell you, that is never going to work. For one, this is a bad high tension area where your phase wires are making that really sharp bend right in between your swing arm. And that can be another reason why your phase wires got destroyed in the first place, because you didn't put enough spacers in between the axle right here and the swing arm, which a lot of people just crush their phase wires in between the swing arm. All right, so make sure you got enough of these spacers like this in between this section and your swing arm, so you can have as much space as possible. So when your phase wires have to make that little bend right outside the rotor, they can do that. All right. So again, like I said, trying to repair the phase wires right here isn't a good idea. It's going to be super bulky because you're going to have all kinds of tape, whatever you're going to use to connect those wires back and insulate them. Even if you're using heat shrink, all that is going to be way too much to have trying to make that bend. So the only way to actually repair that properly is to open up the motor like I did. You're going to have to remove all the silicone that they're going to have loaded up around the phase wires where they come through the axle, and they do that for waterproofing. They load this up with silicone. Sometimes they'll put silicone all around here, none of which will stop water ingress, but it helps, slows it down. So yeah, you're going to have to remove all that, cut off the bad part of the phase wire. Wherever it was damaged, that right here, all nicked up, cut that off so you have all fresh cable. Then what you'll have to do is pull the cable through the axle so you got all good wire from there on. And you're going to have to reconnect everything back up. And like I said, after you've brought a good part of the wire back through the axle. Now, even after you make those connections, that still may not fix your wheel, because 90% of the time when this happens, your wheel has power. So as soon as you know, your rotor cuts into the phase wires, or this cable gets ripped and loose wires start touching each other, shorting out, I guarantee you 90% of the time you have shorted out the hall sensors. So not only will you have to repair this phase wire, you're going to have to replace the halls. No doubt about it. So, you know, like I say, that's what most people attempt to do that little patch up, and then they think they're good to go, put it all back, and then they're disappointed because it's still not working after that. So, yeah, do not do that. That's going to be a big waste of time, I guarantee you. And you're going to be disappointed, and you done mounted the wheel back up on the bike, put the dust covers back on and all that, and your wheel still not working. All right, so I'm gonna put the camera back up there. I just wanted to explain this process because everybody knows I got a terrible string. So I may lose the string, but at least you know what you have to do, okay? So even though I probably won't get to the hall sensor section, just gonna start repairing these wires. I do have a couple videos on just doing the hall sensors. So if you just got a hall sensor issue and all you gotta do is replace the halls, I got videos for that. But this one is a full repair. All right, let's get started. Man, like I said, I started this the other day, and we had technical difficulties, so I stopped. I said I was going to start over later. Unfortunately, I got a phone call that my mom was having an incident, so I had to go to Baltimore on a little emergency type thing. But anyway, she good, so we back, and we back to it. Remember that some of these motors, most of the good ones, are going to have dual sets of hall sensors. Going to have one main set of halls, and they're going to have a reserve set, which is great because most of the time if you blow your halls, instead of having to do all of this, you got a reserve set. However, when you got to do a repair like this, that's just going to be double the work as far as replacing hall sensors. Now, I'm going to tell you, I had made a little post about doing hall sensors, and you know, I included the price about what I charge for this. Now, although hall sensors themselves are very cheap, you can get a set of hall sensors, a good set, for about $15-25, depending on which type you get. So, as with anything, the parts are, you know, cheap. But the labor, yeah, it's some labor. Now, somebody has said, man, do this yourself. You can do it for 20, 25. Yes, you can. But trust and believe me, this ain't no fun job. And this ain't no job anybody want to do. And despite what they say, this is not a 20-minute job. This is a pain in the ass job. It's a tedious job. And it ain't no fun. So I said what my price was to do this because absolutely it's some work. All right, let's see what's going on over here. Uh, Katie, you know I don't know no damn kilograms. This is United States. We don't do no kilograms over here. But as far as pound wise, I can tell you the weight is heavy as hell. Heavy as hell. That would be my guess. Oh man, this motor and tire is it's a 273. So you know a 273 is pretty much 50 pounds by itself, I believe. That was the last time I checked. Or if it ain't 50 pounds, it's damn close to it. So I'm pretty sure this wheel setup is 50 pounds. This is heavy. Make no mistake about it. If you guys don't know, Miss McGill Christ, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Katie is a professional. She works in an e-bike manufacturing company in Australia. So she is very, very proficient at all of this stuff. She knows her stuff. So if y'all got some questions, y'all can ask Miss Katie. I'm sure she can handle it because I'm going to be a little busy right here. But I'm gonna give myself now. What you want to do is slide as much of this cable in there as you need to make these connections. You don't want to just put a little bit in there so you're dealing with short wires. So always push it in there long enough so I got plenty of wire to play with. And then when I'm done, I'll pull it back out, and leave enough in there where I can strap it all to the stator and don't have to worry about anything pulling out. So, yeah. And actually, I'm not in a really good sitting position. It's gonna be very uncomfortable, but this is what I gotta do to try to film it. So yeah, I could be in the house in the AC doing this job, but just to get it on film for you guys, I'm suffering in the heat. So even though I know for a fact these hall sensors are dead as a doorknob, I'm gonna make all these wire connections first and do all that first, and then I'm gonna tackle the phase wires after all that. A whole day job? I hope not, Katie. But you're pretty much right. It's a job, all right. I'm gonna try not to make it a whole day job. It's gonna be longer because I'm filming it. But normally, if everything goes smooth, I can probably knock one out in about 2 hours. That's if everything goes, like I say, smooth with no hitches, and that's just me working real fast, and just because I've done a lot of them. But yes, it would most likely take somebody that's doing this the first time a day, maybe even 2 damn days. Katie, I'm still waiting on you to send me some of them good products you said you was gonna send over here. I think I posted my or gave you my email. So yeah, I would like some of that stuff you was telling me about. Hopefully I ain't having no technical difficulties today. And all is well. I don't see no complaints, so you must be good. Let's see. I need some solder.
I take my rap style real serious. You think it ain't that serious? I bang up the streets to get hot. See Mac moves, chill back sometimes. Young black America, my CD dropped in 2002. Change it out.
Oh man, I almost fell out the chair. That wouldn't have been good. Live TV for you. I don't know if I got this camera in close enough, but that's probably about the best I can do. But after I do make a few connections, I will move it so you can see what's going on. But I mean, y'all pretty much know what's happening. All right, so I did forget my little sponge and paper towel. Little sponges for my soldering iron, and I definitely advise you guys to make all of these Hall sensor connections with a soldering iron. You don't want to do just regular little wire twist connections when it comes to these Hall sensors.
Straighten it out, y'all. Okay, rap music. What you never seen before in your motherfucking lives is about to happen. I need everybody to put their motherfucking hands in the air. We gonna bring it to them like this, right? Now, peace, peace. y'all terrified. Whoever lied to say that y'all were hotness, never felt the flames of my bottomless. Get that, cause I got this. Basketball with the rock wrist. Thanks to Dr. MLK, my mouth, I'm a CLK. Go to Vegas, call me Frito Lay. I slew Vegas, cause you killed the day. Get the car like Rossi and skid off. Mom top you too bossy, get off.
Normally they come with some type of waterproofing sealant. You know, if you open it up, uh, you can attempt to put some sealant back, but you know, normally they come with some waterproof protection. Now that other motor I opened the other day had sand in it, but I'm pretty sure that motor most likely had been opened, and they just didn't do a good job sealing it back. But as far as water ingress, honestly, it ain't too much you can do. I mean, water will find its way in. Um, when these motors heat up, and let's say, like I seen people riding in the water and all of that, or if you spray your bike, you know, with a hose and it's hot, just from the pressure, the atmospheric pressure that's going to happen because your motor being hot, and when it's cooling off, if there's water somewhere on the end of these cables and just this motor is cooling down, it will actually suck the water through these wires like a straw. So I mean, it ain't too much you can do about that. You know, I mean, that's just something that happens over time. Best thing to do is try not to get your bike wet. Now, yeah, they supposed to be waterproof and all that, man, but I'd advise you guys, man, don't don't do a whole lot of water stuff, man. I wouldn't ride my bike in no rivers and streams and all that, man, unless you got money like that to replace your motor and controller at some point. They make for nice videos and good views. If you get 1 million views, then maybe it's worth it. Just like I said the other day, I seen that little video where Saransta is doing burnouts on that, damn, what's that bike? That Arc Vogue or whatever that thing is, Stark Vogue. And yeah, that's a powerful bike, powerful enough to do burnouts. But these are still electric motors, and electric motors don't like doing burnouts. These aren't combustion motors, like I said that day, man. That's about the worst thing you can do to an electric motor is a burnout. Saransta can afford to do burnouts. If you can't afford to do burnouts, I suggest you not do burnouts. Well, everybody think V is the man. Yeah, I mean, V is all right. V do what he do. V can afford it too. You know, so there is that. I mean, whether or not he knows is another story, but he damn sure can afford to do them. And he can repair his own stuff, so hey, that's another thing. You can fix your own bike, then you know, you can do that. There are a lot of people that do this type of work, man, that really don't have no no real background in electronics, man. They just hobbyists that's been doing stuff over and over again for a long time, and they become proficient at it. They're good at what they do, but a lot of them guys still don't know no real electronics. They don't know no theory and fundamentals and all that, man. They couldn't calculate nothing. But they can calculate that bill. I guess that's all they need to calculate. I bet you won't. I bet you won't see them on doing no videos calculating no motor impedances and battery impedance and stuff like that for maximum efficiency. Honestly speaking, all of those guys, most of them guys, have a whole lot more e-bike experience than I do. I tell people quick, man, I just started playing with this e-bike stuff 2 years ago. But electronics, I've been doing electronics all my life. So this e-bike shit ain't nothing. Hold on. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that, guys. My son is going to his first school dance. So of course I had to break him off. I had forgot. Those was the good old days, boy. School dances and all that. Ain't had no problems. Ain't have a care in the world. You ain't to pay. You don't have start having kids till you had to start paying bills. I'm gonna peep over here at this chat in two shakes. So if anybody got anything to say, good or bad, make it happen. What's up, main man? It just said what's up. Uh, Smokey Chevron, I see you up in there. And the guy that asked me, do I use some sort of battery? What? A breaker on my battery? I'm pretty sure anybody in this stream can tell him whether or not I use a breaker on my battery. But should you use a breaker on your battery? 9 times out of 10, unless you racing or you being competitive, you can run a breaker, and there ain't nothing wrong with a breaker. But do I run a breaker on my battery? That would be a negative. But I kind of could recommend, people that just ride e-bikes, just ride the ride and enjoy riding. A breaker could be very beneficial for most people because what it does is make it so when you have to remove your battery in and out of your bike, unless if you don't have any anti-spark connectors, opening your breaker would stop that little pop that most people get when you connect your battery to your controller, that initial surge. But nah, I don't use anything that's a bottleneck on my bike. That's only because I'm being competitive and I'm trying to get every little drip drop of current I can get, nor do I want anything adding any extra resistance in line. But like I said, you guys gotta understand that everybody don't run the way I run. I'm running for different reasons that way to get the best performance possible. And like I said in the video, safety and best performance, safety measures and best performance don't go hand in hand. Unless you trying to break records or you doing some racing, that ain't necessary for the average person. However, if you running a big controller, what I mean by big is more than 300 DC line amps. At least make sure you got the right size circuit breaker. A lot of people leave the original breakers on the bike, and most of those breakers that come with the bikes are only like 100 amp, 150 amp breakers. And then you put an aftermarket controller on your bike, just 300 amps. Even though a lot of those 150 amp breakers won't trip, they will cause high resistance and cause a lot of voltage sag. And even a good one is still going to cause some voltage sag. So just get the best one you can get as far as the amp rating. Let's see. Did I leave out anything as far as these phase wires is concerned? Oh, well, I guess I can tell you guys this. Just like this set of phase wires, when I said I cut off the bad part, which was about 5 or 6 inches, just make sure your cable is still going to be long enough when you cut off that 5 or 6 inches to reach your controller. If your phase wires were just barely making it to wherever your controller is mounted, it's probably better for you to get a brand new set of phase wires. And if not, you may end up having to extend the phase wires on this side going to your controller. And you really don't want to do that, you know, but you might end up doing that. So if you need to buy a brand new set of phase wires from like Alibaba, when you buy your new set, make sure you buy a set that can handle the current that your motor has, because they come in all different sizes, all different gauges, and even the thickness of the entire phase wires. This whole thing, it comes in different measurements, like 10 millimeter, 13 millimeter, 16 millimeter, and that's all so they can fit through your axle cutout. You know, if you buy a set that's too big, they're not going to fit. So make sure you get the right size. That is very important. You'd be mad if you do all this and in your phase wires don't reach, or you buy some phase wires and they don't fit. If you got room to go bigger, go bigger. That never hurts. I hope that guy that said this only takes 20 minutes comes and check out one of these videos, because this is nowhere a 20-minute job. Oh man, I can tell you somebody that used an extension cord for this. Hey, look, at the end of the day, wire is wire. Now, I didn't use extension cord for this, but I use some high voltage AC wire on Frank. My very first e-bike, Frank, when I first got into e-bikes, and like I said, wire is wire for the most part. It just needs to be good quality wire, mainly copper wire. But on Frank, I used 10 gauge high voltage wire from Home Depot as my phase wires on Frank, because that was a 15. And as you know, you need fairly thick wires for your phase wires. And if you buy some AC power wire, they come with 3 wires in it and pretty much look like this. So yeah, on Frank, I use some 10 gauge AC power wire, and it worked. It worked really good too. I wouldn't use that on anything I have now, but we were running much lower power at that time. But yeah, you got a little small controller and you only running 50 or 100 amps. Absolutely. And to be honest, that wire is thicker than a lot of phase wire. It's thicker than them. It's thicker than them noodles that I got on that RZ right now. Them Raymond noodles is shoot. I think them things is 12 or 14 gauge. They are super small. But since I'm doing all these phase wires, I'm definitely going to go ahead and throw some up in there now. And I had to cancel that damn motor, man, because they couldn't tell me nothing as far as when it would arrive, nothing. So I just said, the hell with, I'm going to order another one from somebody else. I'm pretty sure it will come faster than waiting on that. So, yeah, in the meantime, we're going to throw some thicker phase wires on there. I'm gonna show y'all what this is starting to look like. I got a few done. I mean, ain't really nothing to show, but just show y'all up close. Hopefully I don't knock my stream out. So these are the few that I've done. I'm using yellow heat shrink on them, and we got about 6 more small wires to do. Then all the big wires. Now these I'm going to reconnect the actual phase wires right at the coil. I'm gonna pull that off. Now you can see this is from the factory. This is how they come from the factory. The phase wires and where they attach to the coil wires. Now this copper wire in here, I know it looks like it's bare, but it's not. It actually has a coating on it that keeps it insulated. Otherwise, all this would be a dead short if it wasn't. So a lot of times people think that's just raw wire. But it, like I said, it has, I forget what they use for that, but it's some sort of really flexible plastic polymer that's very thin. So when you go to solder the phase wires onto that, you have to burn that coating off of these wires. Otherwise, your solder is not going to adhere. If you just try to solder straight on these coil wires, it won't flow. So, put some flux on there. I use a torch and burn that plastic coating off, and then use my little steel wire brush and scrape all that coating off of there, and then solder the coil wire first, and then reconnect. Oh, let me show. Yesterday I was telling people about moving that little charging for you RZ guys. You see I'm charging through my gas cap right there. So I moved the charging port to the gas cap. We've been kind of lucky today. My stream ain't fell apart yet. Hopefully that then make my mic have a little hum, because I plugged up my receiver so it'll charge. If that made a little humming sound, let me know and I'll unplug it. Now, just in case, I see it's a few people up in here. So if you weren't here from the very beginning, I'm going to repeat something that I said in the beginning because it's kind of important. Uh, Normally, when your phase wires get damaged from your rotor or get cut and twisted wherever, normally it's right here. Most people try to mend and repair those wires right here. That is not going to work. Don't waste your time. It's going to make this way too bulky. It's already uh, having issues making that turn as is. So once you do all this wire patching, definitely not going to be able to work like that. So you're going to have to cut off all that bad wire, slide the good wire through the axle after you removed all the silicone and everything, and redo it from the inside. So all this is good after that. Not only that, if that happened when your motor had power, 90%, 90% chance your hall sensors are done. Because once this shorts out, this cable shorts out, it shorts these hall sensors out. It's real easy to knock them out. All the wires got to do is just touch together for a second and it's done. So don't think just repairing the wires is going to fix it. You're going to have to repair the wires and you got to change the hall sensors. So I was telling people that so they don't waste their time and do that and put it all back together and put it on their bike and hope this going to work because it's not. So just be prepared to do all this. Also, just another quick tip. If you got dual sets of hall sensors, which is the reserve set, uh, obviously they use the ground to tie to both sides. So it's only going to be one ground going to both sets of hall sensors, and you just gotta put them in parallel to grounds. Good. Katie, you still up in here? I ain't gotta answer no damn questions. Everybody see Katie. She is the professional. Oh man, let me mention this too real quick. I had said it the other day lightly, but there was a lot of people that had sent me messages on Facebook to my personal page, and if you weren't a friend, I didn't get any of those messages, none of them. So I noticed that that was because of the settings I had. So that's why I tell people send a friend request to my crisscrossing wire. It has a little Facebook at the end of it. I accept anybody on that page and I can get your messages. But my wife started going over all these people that was trying to contact me and do different things. And it's a lot of people, but you know, it's not like I was ignoring any of these people. I just wasn't getting the messages. So unfortunately, y'all, it's just me. So I can only do but so much by myself. Uh, you know, depending on how things go, maybe I'll get some help one day. But for right now, me, myself, and I. Now, after you get all these wires connected and sealed up and strapped up really good, make sure you definitely strap uh, the main part of the cable to one of these little spokes inside. Put a couple zip ties on them, put a loop in it so it cannot pull out. Make sure you secure that really well. I mean, and that should be obvious, but you'd be surprised. These little Teflon wires kind of hard to strip sometimes, even for these automatic strippers. Yeah, these hall sensor wires, the insulation is Teflon for high heat. Otherwise, some of these motors get so hot that if it was just regular plastic insulation, it would melt them. I don't know if they're all Teflon, but I know the good ones are Teflon. I'm sure Katie know. If they ain't Teflon, they some type of high temperature wires. Now the other issue you might run into when you do the actual hall sensors is depending on whoever worked on this motor is how hard those hall sensors are to remove from the little slots, because sometimes they glue them in there and man, you gotta clean all that up before your new hall sensors will fit in that slot. I mean, that slot, it fits like perfect. So if there's any kind of residue around, the new sensors will not fit. If you have a problem getting them out, I mean, sometimes I have had to heat them up a little bit or put some type of chemical on it to break that glue down.
This brother lowered his guard and took some time out on his hip hop album to say it's okay to believe in God. It's okay to fear God. That was he.
You say braid 'em, Katie. I guess I had to get my wife in here to do that. But yeah, that makes sense. I ain't seen nothing braided yet, but that definitely sounds good. Yeah, I remember you were telling me that one time before. I think you wanted me to get you some wire. Wow. Why is it like that? Is United States the only place that sells good quality wire? And yeah, why all wires ain't equal, that's for sure. That's why most of the time when I just buy a wire for like power wire and stuff, I buy monster cable or any other premium car stereo wire because they use really good wire. Jeez, $50 a meter. Told y'all this is a very tedious, time-consuming job. It ain't really hard. It's just more of a pain in the butt. Uh, this poor guy, well, he not poor, obviously, with this lovely motor sitting up here. I said that because of what happened to him. This is a brand new motor. He didn't even get to run it. What happened was he didn't put, uh, well, he didn't see that when he put his motor in the dropout, uh, how close his rotor was to his swing arm. And when he tightened down on his axle bolts, his cable actually got crushed in between the swing arm and the rotor because he didn't use any of these spacers or not enough of them. So make sure when you put your motor in the dropout, you check that spacing between your rotor and the actual swing arm. Because like I said, his actually crushed the wire without his motor running. So he pushed this bike over. He pushed this bike over wherever he was storing it at. And when he went to program his far driver, the rotor had already sliced into his phase wires. And so, as soon as he cut the power on, it shorted his phase wires out. So he wasn't able to do a motor tune or a motor setup or anything because his hall sensors was already done. So yeah, imagine how he felt. He got this brand new motor and he got this beautiful bike, and man. By the way, well, anyway, the bike that he has this big motor on is a TOB, Dr. Chopper's Special, which is a very nice bike, by the way. And they full size. I think those are full size dirt bike, e-bikes. I mean, it almost looks like a 450. Wow. Uh, Katie, I didn't want to say that, but that's exactly what I use is nail polish remover. I figured somebody would say something crazy when I said that. But yeah, any type of acetone, but yep, nail polish remover. Absolutely. I figured somebody would say something crazy, but yes, it works really well. That's my go-to. What time is it over there in Australia? Is it like 6 a.m.? What? I'm curious because I notice most of the time when you in there, it's normally like nighttime here. We almost done with all these little hall sensor wires. Two sets. Yeah, I know now that I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to modify that in my pricing for one set of hall sensor, one set of hall sensor wires, especially if you replacing two sets of hall sensors. Shoot, that's double the work for sure. I ain't gonna go back on my man on this one, but definitely for future reference. Uh, One set of hall sensors and two sets is gonna be a different price. I don't mean nothing crazy, but yeah, definitely a little bit more or a little bit less. That's three more sensors to have to use that nail polish on and clean them slots out and fit the new ones in there. The last little connection here. And this is temperature speed sensor wire. Actually, I got another one that was hiding. I, I missed one that was hiding back there. Oh, okay. 8 a.m. You going to work in a half hour. I heard that. Why don't you take your book bag with you this morning and fill that book bag up and send me a nice care package from down under. Man, I meant to put all of these through a big heat shrink. I forgot to do that. But I would have liked to done that. But I'll come up with another solution. But anyway, all our hall sensor wires are done. So next is on to these dual phase wires. And as you can see, this motor has dual sets. So 2 times uh, on each one of those. And like I said, we're not gonna just I don't know. Maybe I will. Cause it is a pain in the butt scraping them core wires, getting them ready to be soldered on. If I make the connection on these other phase wires, I will do it right at the core, as short as possible. That should be alright. Oh boy. Let's see what we got here. Wow, been on here for an hour. y'all close up. As you can see, we got all our little hall sensor wires done with some yellow heat shrink. We're gonna we're gonna strap them all up, tape them all up. But yeah, that's where we at so far. So as you can see, it ain't much to the rest of this job. We just going to connect the rest of them and do the hall sensors. Now, I'm not going to stay on here and do all that on this stream. But like I said, you can check out my other videos on hall sensors on doing just those. But that's all that's left on this. Like I said, make sure you secure the cable on the inside, strap it to one of these spokes in there so it can't pull out. Put some more silicone around the hole. Try to slow some of that water down and call it a day. As you notice, they use this I forget what it's called, but it's high temperature wrap that keeps because phase wires get super hot, especially where connections are made. So if you just rely on putting some heat shrink where the phase wire connect to the core wires, it will actually melt the heat shrink sometime. So you have to use these sleeves, these damn, I can't think of the name for them right now. But like I said, it's a high temperature material along with heat shrink. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up right there. And that is how you start and do phase wire repair job, guys. I appreciate everybody that came through and checked this live stream out. I'm gonna take 5, and who knows? I might come back and finish it up, but I need me a little slight break. Station for station identification. Appreciate y'all once again. You need me, holler at me. I put a little short with all my contact information. Yeah. All right, man. Take care, y'all. We out.
Cause all my niggas is thorough. Talking about all my niggas spread out in every borough.